cold air. It's prompting severe weather. This was yesterday. I've rewound the radar and satellite to show you yesterday afternoon and evening. We had this line of storms that barreled through the Toronto area, and it looked pretty nasty if you had a chance to see it. In fact, I think we have some video to share with you. This taken by one of our former producers, Emily English. You can see just how ferocious the clouds look. What you're seeing at the bottom of the cloud there, that kind of jagged looking edge, that's what is called scud, where it looks pretty nasty coming down. Often it is benign, but as you can see in this cloud, because there is so much movement in it, if there was any sort of rotation, that could form into something a little scarier. Those storms had now moved eastward, and they will be impacting communities like the Montreal area through the eastern townships up to Quebec City, northern New Brunswick, as that cold front continues its progression across this heat warning. Now, today, the heat warning still persist in eastern Ontario, southern Quebec, and our maritime provinces. What we're likely to see later on is eastern Ontario dropped from the heat warning. It's not that it's not hot, it's just less humid, and so it's feeling a little more comfortable outside. Southern Quebec, it's going to be quite muggy still through today and even into the weekend. It'll feel close to like 35 for Montreal tomorrow, so not quite the 40 you had earlier this week. But our maritime provinces, it's even muggier through today. So these are the expected humidex values this afternoon. Notice we're not seeing the 40s that we had yesterday, but as we go over to the maritime provinces, yeah, like Moncton, it's going to feel like 40 this afternoon and tomorrow as well. Antigonish, for example, feeling close to 38. Even further north in Labrador, that excessive heat warning continues. Now, the humidity is dropping in Ontario, and you can see that here. Green would indicate really moist air, whereas the yellows, it's drier air. So that drier air moving into the lower Great Lakes, it's what you see is what you get kind of day. So 27 degrees in Toronto, it'll feel like 27 degrees. Southern Quebec, it's a different story. Atlantic Canada, certainly that humidity stays entrenched in the area right throughout the weekend. So be prepared to be dealing with that kind of oppressive feeling heat. What you want to do is find a treed area, a local park, or if you can get down to the water, if you're on the lake side or the ocean side, it will be so much cooler because of that. Now, with the progression of the cold front, I mentioned the likelihood of severe storms mid-afternoon today, right along the international border in Quebec, and then stretching up through northern New Brunswick, the Gaspé Peninsula, coastal Quebec, all the way towards Labrador. In behind that, there's a secondary front. This one's a little bit weaker and going through less hot, humid air. So there's the possibility of some storms in northern Ontario. The weekend is unsettled. Keep that in mind for afternoon and evening activities. You could be dealing with rolling showers or thunderstorms, even towards the Ottawa area Sunday morning, and then northwest Ontario dealing with quite a doozy by Sunday afternoon.